So I don't normally do like unboxing videos, and my address was on that, so it's like I wanted to get that flap open. But this showed up on eBay recently, and I thought it was kind of an opportunity I didn't want to pass up. I remember seeing these on TV when I was younger, and actually I have spotted the full infomercial for it on I think it was Volume E on YouTube. It's like I don't want to link it because I mean I don't want to tip anyone off, you know, that it's there, because it might get taken down. But these things, they always look so promising when they're on TV. And I have had one of these before, but it was missing the filter, and of course, you know, being kind of an obscure machine, I couldn't find a replacement. And you know, since it also kind of acts as the seal, it had like no power. But even so, it's like I thought it was kind of an interesting thing, despite its extremely limited functionality. And something that's really different about this is they use the exhaust air from the power unit in order to spin the turbo brush on here. So it's like you can actually see the turbine here, and it uses this back channel to push the exhaust air down there to drive that. Now, it's like in the infomercial they do a bunch of ridiculous things. Like, they put it up against, let me think. They put it up against like a shark stick vac. Oh, look at that, it does have the attachments. Cool. I didn't think it would. They didn't show them in the auction, because I know you can connect this directly to the head here, but of course then you don't have the brush roll active. What was I saying? Oh, right. It's like, so they have a pile of dirt on the floor, and then they go over it with like a shark stick vac, kind of like the one I just tested, the straight suction ones. They're like, this is 1,000 watts, you know, so they run over it with that, and then they run over it with an Oreck, an XL21 that's clearly had its like name and stuff redacted on it, and then they go over it with this laser storm, and they find additional dirt. So I'm gonna pause this for a moment while I take the plastic off the main body, because it's a two-handed job. Okay, so this is the actual power unit itself, and I've kind of had my I've had my suspicions that these you know, were a Singer in name only, and that does appear the case with this being an IGEA. So it's like, yeah, they just slapped Singer's name on there because Singer has been around for quite some time. But this is the actual unit, and back here we have the exhaust like flap or door. So when this is open, and it's opened by inserting it into here, because you can see it's got those two little prongs there, so it forces the exhaust air down into here, and then it comes out at this back piece here in order to power this turbine. So, how does this... I think it's just a friction fit. Yep, it was a friction fit. So, there we go. There's our completed unit here. Yeah, it's kind of a chintzy thing, really. But, you know, it's an as seen on TV product, and you can never expect too much from those. It's cool to have a new one, though. Alright, I don't want to get this dirty quite yet, so I'm going to lean this back. It's actually got a fair amount of torque. The exhaust air comes out back here. So, despite having the ability to do this, I don't really spend time doing like brush roll RPMs, but I figured this is such a unique case that I'm going to take the measurement for it. I'm just curious to see how it does. I mean, clearly it's a slower running one, and I'm assuming, you know, it must have some sort of gear reducer in here in order to make sure this has proper torque. But it's like, still, let's see what it can do. Well, there we go. We're starting part 2 here because the battery drain is real, and this thing, despite barely being used, killed the battery. So, we're going to test the brush roll RPM for real this time. Alright, and for the wattage and all that, I'm going to run it in the upright mode, and then I'm going to take the hand vac out, because I have a feeling that longer exhaust path might actually lead to it drawing slightly higher wattage. So, let's start it up, and once again we're in the upright mode. Pop this out. That's surprising. It didn't really have much of an effect. But, oh well. So the inlet on this thing is kind of an oval shape. It's not a great fit with this cone, but, you know, it's whatever. It's like I don't think that many people are going to be interested in seeing this machine anyways. Or exhaust outlet. Nope. So before I do the suction test on here, the ad for it did a few ridiculous things. They compared the suction against a Kirby. In, you know, Kirbys have high airflow, but they don't have high suction. So I'm going to insert the clip right here.
Over here I have a vacuum that retails for over $1,000. I have a clear tube, and inside I put this ping pong ball. Okay, we're going to hook up the single laser storm at the other end, and we're going to see really who has more suction. Okay, turn your machine on.
All right.
Okay, now you can see that vacuum cleaner is gripping it with all its suction and power, right?
Wow.
Okay, well watch this. Let's see what happens when we hook up the single laser storm. Okay, see that? Want to see that again? Okay. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, that's a pretty ridiculous way to do things, isn't it? And then they also hooked something that looked like a dryer hose up to a fridge, and it dragged the fridge across the floor. And then near the end of it, they had hooked a suction cup to, I forget exactly what it was. It might have been like a commercial freezer or something like that, and lifted it off the ground. Makes me think of Oreck with their bowling balls, or when Kirby lifted a VW Bug with the Heritage 2 way back in the day. It's just ridiculous, you know. I mean, sure, it makes it look good to those who are unfamiliar with vacuums, but I mean, I just see it now as a bunch of gimmicks. But let's test the suction at the inlet. I'm going to turn this on its side again because we have a slight angle which would make it, you know, push into the floor. So let's see how it does. We have some leakage, but alright, so we are secured to the box, but I kind of have to wonder if, you know, that exhaust turbine is going to end up interfering with this a little bit. I wouldn't doubt that, you know, there's probably some leakage from, you know, from here into here, but it's like, we'll see. know, as a stick vac, this thing isn't bad. It's definitely a unique concept, though, running the, running the brush off of the exhaust air. I don't think I've ever seen that sort of configuration anywhere. Now, I guess, I'm not sure if I'll actually be using this much, because, I mean, NOS, so it's kind of like, do I want to preserve this or what? But it's cool to use. And it's like, I was actually surprised that it has a little bit of a grip on the carpeting, but I suppose, 20 inches of suction at the floor nozzle is more than what most machines have. But yeah, this is the only fully working model I've ever had. And, oh, that's interesting. So, the dirt actually goes up a solid channel in the back here, and then it's put into the bin. Huh. Interesting. Well, anyways, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this, and maybe this will spark a little bit of nostalgia for some of you who have actually seen this on TV. But yeah, definitely, if you want to check out the full infomercial, check out Drive E and find his full presentation of it. So, thanks for watching.